What's up, YouTube? This is me, Asian Dave, aka Fanatical for Jesus, aka Dawei, aka David Chu. I'm coming to you real quick. I want to talk about a topic that actually my girlfriend told me I should cover, and I decided it was a good idea, cause this topic gets kind of skewed, a lot of people who aren't really educated about mental illness, they tend to think that mental illness and mental retardation are one and the same thing, and I'm here to dispel with that myth right now. I'm going to talk about the differences between mental illness and the differences between mental illness and mental retardation, and I'm going to perfectly lay out how mental illness and mental retardation are not the same thing. Anyway, so yeah, my first point is that there are a lot of really highly intelligent and creative people who are not mentally retarded. They may suffer with a mental illness, but that doesn't mean they're mentally retarded. And the fact that there are highly intelligent people who suffer with mental illnesses that no one would ever in a million years say are mentally retarded, the fact that they're around proves that mental illness and mental retardation are not the same. And I'll get into a couple examples of who these people are, just in a minute. I want to go over. I just did a simple Google search about what's the definition of mental illness, and this is what came up. It said a mental disorder is a wide range of conditions that affect mood, thinking, and behavior. A couple examples of this were classical depression, which is a mental health disorder characterized by depressed mood or loss of interest in activities causing significant impairment in daily life. The other example was bipolar disorder, which is a disorder associated with episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. And I would like to add to that definition, the manic highs can lead to grandiose delusions. Well, then I looked up the definition of mental retardation, and the definition that I got off of Google was below average intelligence and set of life skills present before age 18. So as you can tell just by those two definitions alone that they are not the same. I really wish people would stop assuming that if you're mentally ill that you must be mentally retarded. They're not the same thing at all. So get that out of your head. People who talk to someone who's a mentally ill person will know right away, hey, this person is not stupid. They understand what I'm saying. They're not slow. They're comprehending what I'm saying. So obviously they're not, if you have any kind of interactions with anyone with mental illness, you can tell that they're not slow or mentally retarded. But I don't know. It's just that a lot of people, they tend to lump us all together and think we're all the same. Here's a list. I found 4 examples of famous intelligent people who suffer with mental illness. The first person, my personal favorite, his name is John Nash. If you've seen the movie A Beautiful Mind, then you most likely have heard of John Nash. He's a Nobel Peace Prize winner who was also a genius mathematician. When it came to math, this dude was probably one of the best of our day, anyways. I don't know. Yeah, so John Nash was highly intelligent, but he suffered with schizophrenia. And if you haven't seen the movie A Beautiful Mind, I highly suggest that you go see that movie. It's probably the best example of someone who was an intelligent mind, who had an intelligent mind, but suffered with a mental disorder. And it's based on a true story. There's some details. I read the autobiography about John Nash, and his story, his actual story is a little bit different um, than the movie portrays. But it's still a good movie to watch, and I highly suggest all of you to go and rent that movie on. I don't know, go to Amazon Prime if you have it, or wherever. Like buy the movie off of Amazon or wherever you go to watch your movies. I highly suggest you check out A Beautiful Mind. Um, the second person was Isaac Newton, or Sir Isaac Newton. He was, I mean, of course, you all know he was the most famous mathematician of the 17th century. But did you know that Isaac Newton suffered with bipolar disorder? Yeah, that's a common fact. He suffered with bipolar disorder. Like, and so so no one would in their right mind accuse Sir Isaac Newton of being mentally retarded. Like they would say he was batshit crazy, which that was probably true if he suffered with bipolar disorder. I mean, I hate using that term, but I say batshit crazy a lot. But forgive me, but I mean he suffered with a true mental disorder, and he was not retarded. The other person was Ludwig von Beethoven. And of course, you know who Beethoven is. If you don't know who Beethoven is, then I don't know what you're doing. Um, he struggled with bipolar disorder as well, and his bipolar disorder caused him to be highly creative with his works. And then the last person I listed um, was Abraham Lincoln. And if you don't know who Abraham Lincoln is, then you're not even living on this planet. But I mean, for those of you who don't know who he was the 16th president. He led the North into victory against the South and freed the slaves and all that jazz. But he suffered with frequent suicidal depression. Like I don't know if you knew that, but he did. He suffered with suicidal depression, and no one would accuse Abraham Lincoln of being mentally retarded. He was highly intelligent. I mean, he was intelligent enough to be the president of the country. So there's that. Um, I think one of the best movies that I've seen that perfectly portrays the lives of both mentally ill people and mentally retarded people in contrast to each other was the movie Forrest Gump. Like Forrest Gump, as you know, he was mentally retarded, but Jenny, I mean, she had her own problems. Like I would say, even though the movie never explicitly says this, but based on her life and the kind of life she led, she kind of led the life of a mentally ill person. And this leads me to my next point about um, a lot of times mentally retarded people are more better off than mentally ill people. Yes, I'll say it again, like in case you didn't hear me the first time. A lot of the times, mentally retarded people are better off than a lot of mentally ill people. I mean, just like you see in the movie, Forrest Gump was going to the military. He was making a future. He was creating a future for himself. Like he was working. He was doing all this stuff. And like I see it all the time. Like I see like mentally retarded people like working in Walmart. Um, they're able to keep down a job for a long period of time. Whereas there's a lot of mentally ill people who, because of their illness, and they have like freakouts or whatever, they have like severe bouts with depression where they don't even feel like getting out of bed. Like they end up losing jobs, and then go from a lot of people with mental illness, like myself, will go from job to job to job to job and never actually holding down a job for a long period of time. So that's why I say a lot of the times mentally retarded people are better off than a lot of mentally ill people. I mean, it's portrayed pretty pretty well in the lives of Forrest Gump and Jenny. Like, and I mean, I've seen it like all over America. Like I've been to places like California. I've been to places like Indianapolis. I've been to places like Ohio and New Jersey and like all over. I've been all over this country, and like I see it over and over again. Mentally retarded people holding down jobs for like long periods of time, and they're able to live. Like I remember one of my first jobs that I had. I there was this mentally retarded guy that worked there. He worked at this restaurant that I worked at. He was there for like 5 years, and I worked there. And within like after it was my longest job that I held. I held it for like technically 2 years, but I ended up losing my job like after about like maybe 9 months to a year. Well, I didn't lose. I freaked out and I quit. But then I came back like 2 weeks later and talked to my boss, and she rehired me. But like, um, but then I had to quit again for personal reasons. So I've gone. Like I've seen mentally retarded people able to hold down jobs and live stable lives for a good amount of time. Like whereas people with mental illnesses, like I'll be real, we struggle to hold down a job for even 6 months. Like it's just not. It's just like it's just how things are. Like um yeah, so that's why I say a lot of the times mental retarded people are better off than a lot of people with mental illness. Now, I know I know a lot of people, this raises the question of, does this mean that all mentally retarded people are better off than all mentally ill people? No, of course not. Because with the help of medication, mentally ill people can live lives that are just as good as anyone else. So, but the thing is with medication though, this is what some people don't understand. Like medication is not there to stop the mental illness. It's not there to stop the mental illness. All mental illnesses slowly progress over time, but the medication, well, all mental illnesses without medication will progress really fast. But the medication, all the medication is doing when a mentally ill person takes medication at the same time every day, like yeah, they have to take medication the same time every. I think there's like an hour, yeah, there's like an hour like span after. So like so, for instance, if you're supposed to take your medication at 12 o'clock noon, then you have till 1 o'clock to take that medication, or you could take it at 11 o'clock. But either way, you have to take medication the same time every day, otherwise it's not going to work as well. And if you do take your medication the same time every day, then it slows down the progression. Like, so, I mean, your mental illness is still gonna progress. It's progressively get worse, but the medication will slow down that progression, and you'll be able to live a normal functioning life as much as possible. So, yeah. Um, that's all I have to say. Like I hope this cleared things up. I hope you can tell the difference. Next time you see someone who struggles with mental illness, please don't assume that they're mentally retarded. Like remember what I said, and like just keep this in mind. And keep this video in your mind, and remember that mentally ill people are not mentally retarded. There's a difference, and like I really hope that this message gets out to a lot of people, because a lot of uneducated people out there think that mental illness is the same as mental retardation, and it's not the same. So if you can, please help me out by sharing this video with your friends. Share this video with your family members. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you have a family member or a close friend of yours who suffers with any kind of mental illness, then they probably don't appreciate being that. Like chances are, if you have a friend or a family member that suffers with a mental illness, they are being treated like they're retarded by someone in their life, and it'll be good. I'm pretty sure they will appreciate it if you spoke up for them and say, "Hey, my brother is mentally ill. Like, don't treat him like he's retarded." I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they will appreciate that. Like I know when I was younger and I didn't really understand my illness, but I knew I wasn't retarded. Like I would have appreciated if my sisters would have spoke up and told people, "Hey, my brother's not retarded. Like he understands what you're talking about. Um, like you need to treat him like he's a capable human being." Because that's all mentally ill people want, is to be treated like capable human beings. Anyway, so that's all I have to say about that for now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. I love you all. And I hope you have a good day. God bless you. And deuces.